Hey, push one in the chat if anybody can hear me. All right, thank you for the confirmation. Welcome back to the Black Brain Trust. This is just a quick addendum on Open Chat 93 from last night. I had the opportunity to listen to some feedback from AB Media. Okay. Let me go over what was said on that panel last night. Let me grab the link. I think it's very important that we actually discuss this. I don't like to be lied on. That's one thing I don't like that. So give me 1 second. Oh, no, that's not it. Sorry. That's not it. Here we go. All right. Push one in the chat if you can see the screen. All right, got a confirmation. Let me play this real quick so that you guys can hear what was said.
A debate between Brianna Joy Gray, Crystal Ball, and her simp Kyle. Actually, Kyle's her husband, but I'll call him by his proper term. That's her simp. And I had fun with the video. And I just gave my critique of the video. It was pretty much I turned the video. It was pretty much the left versus vote blue, no matter who. Hey, what's going on, the snowman?
I was going to call it a night until you said you got attacked for speaking the truth.
Oh, I'm not joking. I did get attacked for it. I don't know. Let me see if that video's still up.
I know you're not joking. That's why I hopped on.
Let me see if I can find this video.
Who the hell?
And I wasn't. I know why they did it, but I really wasn't trying to go at those brothers. I was just
right.
My critique on that particular video.
Yeah, you offered your opinion. You gave a critique. What's the problem?
Here's the problem. You live in the state of Indiana, right? And so your commentary about what you think the left is, what the left actually is, versus what the vote blue, no matter who is the problem. All of your problems, that gripes that you have about public policy have nothing to do with Democrats. It has nothing to do with the left. It has nothing to do with liberals. It has to do with conservatives in your state. That's why I responded to your video last night or your live stream, because people don't know on your side that that's the stuff that you're trying to cover is somehow a Democrat thing. In reality, the stuff that you're trying to cover is really a conservative thing. But you're masking it as if Biden or Harris or Dems vote blue no matter who, as if you solve that issue, all of your issues would be solved, because that's not what you said when you were here. Open Chat 89, which was only a month or so ago. So did we attack you? No. Let's listen to it.
Wait a minute. What did I do? I didn't call any of you guys out. Wait a minute. What? Oh yeah, it's still up. 1 second here.
It was good. I was going to be quiet.
Let's go on and play some of this.
I have to see this.
They were. I was just giving my critique in.
Right.
I wasn't. They were saying stuff like I was attacking the left of the video. I'm like, wait a minute, I was agreeing with Brianna. Brianna is clearly on the left.
Brianna was a surrogate for Bernie Sanders. Okay, she was his press secretary. That's the position that she's taking.
She's actually a feminist. I just happen to agree with her every now and then.
So she gave some valid points that you agreed with, and they attacked you for
that. See for yourself. Let's see. Oh yeah, here.
Oh boy.
Let's go.
Oh boy.
Let's go.
Let's see. Let's see. Start. Oh, here we go. Start right here.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. But his Senate track record is way more to the right than, let's say, Trump.
Let's see what you're talking about.
Ultra liberal, right? That Joe Biden is this sort of super liberal, caribou coffee drinking.
When did I ever say that? But okay.
And skinny jean wearing.
Okay, Brian, when did I ever say that? Okay.
It's not about what you said, it's what you perceive. That's what you perceive Joe Biden to be and Kamala Harris to be. You perceive these people to be ultra liberals. That's the whole entire attack on it, and that's why you call yourself a conservative, because you think you're to the right of Joe Biden. Joe Biden is to the right of Trump. How can both be true?
Mike, just real quick, dude. Like he didn't kind of catch the humor in what you were saying. Like we know you didn't say that they wear the skinny jeans, and that was a fucking joke. But it's alluding to a perception that you have. We know you didn't say that like word for word, Mike. It was a joke, but it was alluding to a position that you have in terms of your view on what a quote unquote liberal or whatever. We know you didn't talk about skinny jeans, bro. Like, come on.
But that's their perception that, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, AOC, they all be hanging out sipping mochas with each other. That's not true. But that's their perception of what they think the Democrats are. And so all of the angst against the Democrats is based on this false perception of, what they think the public policy is coming out. It's because they can't critique the public policy at this point. They can only critique the personhood. And that's where I'm like, no. You're not going to get away with that, because let's talk about your state of Indiana.
Actually, I'm in Indiana right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Indiana right now.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, if you're not in Indianapolis, if you're not in South Bend, if you're not in Terre Haute, if you're not in Evansville, if you don't live in those areas, this is completely a conservative problem. Greg Pence, Mike Pence's brother, he's in Congress from the state of Indiana, right? Mm-hmm. So how the Senate, they have a supermajority.
Yep.
House, state Senate, Supreme Court, all that stuff. There's no way you can be complaining about liberals in the state of Indiana, because they literally don't run anything except for those cities.
Yeah.
And
South Bend.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Notre Dame is. But, school town. But it's like, what city does he live in? Like that's never
I
been.
I think he's in Indianapolis, but I don't know.
But they got a lot of construction, a lot of jobs, a lot of building in Indianapolis. You can't say that for the rest of the state. You can never say that for the rest of the state. There's no building going on in Gary, Indiana.
Yeah.
but it's like most of this stuff is a conservative problem. I don't know how I get to be liberal's fault.
Yeah.
So.
Let me finish playing this. Liberal, right?
I've never said that.
If you look at Joe Biden's track record, right? Some people would call him a Dixiecrat or a modern day Dixiecrat. That's fine. I'm okay with
No shit, Sherlock.
that. But
That's obvious.
Yeah.
his
no
Senate
one's
track
saying,
record is
no one's saying Joe Biden's a progressive. I don't know where they're getting this from.
way more to the right than, let's say, Trump. But that doesn't ever get highlighted about criticism about Biden.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I noticed something. He didn't play any of my video.
No, the reason why I didn't play any of your video because you don't have any political thoughts. You can't take Breonna Joy Gray's comments as your thoughts. It's not yours. Those are her thoughts, not yours. You don't have any thoughts. It's a debate between Breonna Joy Gray and what do you call it? What's the blonde haired guy's name? Why's the name slipped my mind right now? Crystal Ball and her husband. Those are their ideas. You don't have any ideas in this.
Cal Kalinske.
Yeah, Cal Kalinske. You don't have any ideas in this. They're debating two opposing views that are legitimate to have in discourse, but you don't have that. You live in Indiana. All of your complaints about what you think is wrong with the Democratic Party, like what we're seeing right here, have been noted back in 2016. So the problems with Indiana as a state, from a public policy standpoint, rest at the foot of conservatives. Talking about Joe Biden being too old to run and Sleepy Joe and all these little memes and whatnot, that doesn't help your argument. Okay, let me finish playing this. I'm only going to play like 5 more minutes of this.
Of course not.
Because that actually gets, that's what Breonna Joy Gray was doing actually pretty effectively, criticizing Joe Biden because he's too far to the right. But I noticed he did not play my video.
Right? And so there's this idea that Biden, Sleepy Joe, he needs to stop trying to run, all the ageism, right?
Well, here's the problem with that statement, Snowman. Forget what me and you think about it.
Right.
They polled 57% of Democrats don't want him to run. It's either 50 or 67% of Democrats don't want to run because they think he's too old. Now, you want to go against more than half your party, and actually I have to shout out Breonna Joy Gray, a black woman. Notice, I'm not talking about a black woman. I'm praising a black woman right now.
The fact of the matter is, you're talking about a black woman. Whether you're criticizing her or you're praising her, the black woman always becomes the default position to take.
Right.
I have to shout out Breonna Joy Gray because she pointed out something I've been thinking for years. Vote blue, no matter who was created, so the Democrats can ignore what the polls actually say. Oops.
Actually, vote blue, no matter who, was a slogan based on if you allow these other guys to get in the other party, you ain't getting shit, which is what happened in Indiana. You ain't getting nothing.
Nothing.
Okay? You got nothing out of it. So you'd be better off voting at least at the very minimum for a Democrat that can actually get something tangible done, rather than to be voting for people that don't hold your best interest to begin with. And they openly tell you they don't have your best interest.
They tell you that.
They tell you that.
But why haven't he moved to a better area? I mean, like
Yeah.
Dayton is what, 120 miles away? Yeah. 120 miles away. You literally would get more out of Dayton, Ohio than you would Indianapolis. You just would.
Let me finish playing this.
And I agree with that.
Been a lesson taught to me by my mom for years. I never obeyed that rule, but hey.
For all of the gripes that he has about Joe Biden really have nothing to do with Joe Biden or the Democratic Party. Let me explain.
Oh boy.
Wait for it.
What's going on, Renaissance, man?
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Sean, man, put some volume on your mic. This is from NPR.org. Pence expanded Medicaid as governor. Now he may be part of cutting it. This is 2016, right?
Now, part of what pissed me off about this, like, wait a minute, what did I ever say I was a fan? He just later on the video, he pretends I'm somehow a fan of Trumpens. I was like,
wait a
when did
minute,
I
Mike.
ever say I was a
Mike,
fan?
Yeah.
wait a minute. When he came up on our panel, didn't he mention something about access to health care?
Oh, I'm gonna play it right now. I'm gonna play it right now. I got that all queued up. See, I got it.
All right,
See,
never mind.
Yeah, we come with the facts today. We're gonna come with more facts.
Another key factor. You just have to understand in what you're dealing with. That's what makes our political plight here in this country a complex one, and why you have to be really knowledgeable, understand your history, and well organized to achieve things. All this can be done, but you're looking at resistance from both sides. The common denominator is white hegemony and white control, and that exists in both parties. You're not getting rid of it.
All right, let's go to AV Media.
Can you hear me now?
Us? If you can.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
So what's the issue?
I don't know where you came in on the stream. Where did you come in?
Probably about 10 minutes ago.
Okay. So you wanted to speak on the economy. I heard it. We played the clip of you saying it. So
Okay.
the so-called left, right? Where are your sources that the economy is not doing good?
Well, I don't have them with me right now, but the way people are,
I'm sorry.
Hey, go on, man. Go ahead, AB.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the numbers do look good. I'm not gonna dispute that. Employment's at an all-time low, but when you talk to people, they're not happy. I do understand the numbers are what they are, and also groceries. The groceries are not going down. Now I understand it takes time, and that's not entirely Biden's fault.
It's not a jobs figure number problem though.
There's a lot of stuff coming up. Like next month, they're going to start back student loan payments, and the economy's going to take a hit.
Well, wait a second here, right?
And I just hope.
Wait a second here.
All these things are liberal things that he's worried about. Like when the conservatives are in power, like right now, food is going up, fuel's going up. No one is asking anybody in the House to do anything. They're just blaming Biden for it.
Hold on a second, MOT. Black men being brutally honest. The link's in the chat. Yeah, the link's in the chat. You can pull up too. You can pull up.
He's not going to pull up, man.
Wait, hold on. Is this more virtue signaling? What is it?
It is. It is.
you
You
know,
know, when you bring when you
it's
bring
just-
these brutally,
get your ass up here. Hit the link. Come on up here, bro.
you can come up here too. You can come up
on,
here
man.
too.
This is bullshit. Come on up here.
You can come up here too. Because I'm not making this up. This is coming out straight out of his own mouth.
Well, Mike, my problem is this motherfucker is going to literally sit up here and basically SBE us.
Yeah. Let me finish
fuck
playing what
outta
AB.
here. Hit the link, dude.
Let me finish playing what AB Media is saying because I want to make sure that we're getting him on record. Loans? Because of student loans? I'm just trying to understand.
No, because they're going to start making them repay it next month. They've been on a
But they only have to repay up to 5% of their income.
Okay.
You understand that, right? So that means if they're making, let's say, minimum wage in fact, if they're making minimum wage, I don't even think they have student loans at this point. I think that's been, I think they were the first ones to get their loans completely absolved or resolved. And so the only ones who really have to pay are ones who meet who are above the poverty rate, the poverty levels, federal poverty levels. So I'm not sure if that's going to impact the economy as you're saying, but to this point, I don't know where you said you came in 10 minutes ago, but let's just look at my sources. And, we've covered this earlier, but I'll just do it for you. This is from Bloomberg. The economy is going Biden's way. Now he has to get voters to give him credit. This is from Bloomberg.
okay.
This is from CNBC. Morgan Stanley credits Bidenomics for much stronger than expected GDP growth. According to these sources in factcheck.org, let me see if I can pull up fact check. Factcheck.org says that the economy is also doing good too. The numbers reflect that. So that's why I'm trying to understand, where did you get that statement last night that you made on the Coliseum that the left, the Black Brain Trust, Mike V, says that the economy is doing good, but it's not being reflected where?
Well, one I'm listening to the economist Richard Wolff. That's one of the guys that said the economy's not doing as good as the numbers might seem.
Richard Wolff.
Rick Wolff is a Marxist economist, so he has a Marxist
Yeah,
lens.
that's what I'm saying.
I'm
Richard
not saying
Wolff.
he's wrong, but he uses a Marxist lens. And so for all of the quote unquote anti-left rhetoric that goes on in this space, I'm surprised that anybody would use a Marxist economist's view on the economy, but then revert back into a non-Marxist perspective. I don't understand that lens, but I get it. Any source that can be used to prop up the idea that the economy is not doing good.
He's not a Marxist across the board.
Because I did hear you guys mention Ron DeSantis. Under no circumstances would I vote for Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, but Ron DeSantis isn't on the ballot in Indiana right now, so it doesn't matter. But let me finish playing this, because the thing he said earlier was he was attacked. But where did we attack AB Media? Where did we attack him? That sounds like a very cordial conversation that was happening. There was no curse words even used. Let me finish playing what he's saying. Give him 5 more minutes.
In a pants.
As long as I've known you, and it's going on 4 years now, because I met you while we were still in North Carolina, I've never heard you express a fandom for Pence. And as a matter of fact, one of the first times I joined you on the air, I told you my wife and I don't express any fandom for Pence either.
Fandom?
So, as
I've actually pointed out for years, even when when Trump made his vice president, you have to understand, even the Republicans wanted him gone.
Yes.
Nobody is defending Pence, especially now. Pence run around running for real on election on I want to ban abortion across the country. That's a losing strategy. Nobody's going for Mike Pence.
Okay.
That's just not going to happen.
What's the sound I need? Yeah, it's this one right here.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Let me read this real quick. Chris,
Yes, he did run the state like a piece of shit. He let an AIDS academic happen some other shit that I forgot about.
Cunningham,
And this is in his state too.
Which is why even the Republicans here wanted to get rid of him.
yeah, that's why I'm bringing this up. Chris Cunningham was so thrilled with Indiana Governor Mike Pence's Medicaid expansion under the Affordable Care Act that she readily accepted his invitation to an event celebrating its first anniversary in January. After 8 years without health insurance, Medicaid coverage paid for treatment of her thyroid problem and lung disease and prescription drugs to help both. Quote, "It was a game changer for me," the Indianapolis woman said. Election day results are her mind now. Indiana Governor Mike Pence was one of the 10 Republican governors to expand Medicaid under Obamacare. But as president-elect Donald Trump's running mate, Pence is now calling for the health laws repeal and replacement. If that happens, millions of low-income people around the country
and that clearly failed.
Added to the state federal insurance program since 2014 under the health law are at risk of losing their health insurance. 31 states in the District of Columbia have expanded Medicaid, extending coverage to at least 10 million Americans. Quote, I don't see how a compassionate human being can rip healthcare away from millions of people, Cunningham said. But didn't he say here, let's go over this.
I'll tell you that straight up.
Okay.
He's a racist grifter, and everybody sees that. That's some goofy shit he's doing in Florida with the slavery benefited somebody. Yeah, right. No, I don't agree with that.
Okay. I mean, he thinks he can win the nomination for the party. I don't see that.
He's not going to beat Trump.
I think
okay.
Republicans that we can agree on. But if the objective of the Republicans is to pull in more black votes, especially from black men, I don't think that Ron DeSantis is the ambassador of that agenda. I think that black men going into the Republican Party today is walking into a burning house. I don't see what they're going to get out of it. When I hear people in the space talk about Democrats and leftist policies, I'm not sure if they understand that Republicans have zero policies that would be advantageous to black men at this point. Unless you know of something I don't, because last time Trump's policies, was supposed to bring carrier into Indiana, that was a very short stint. They got $1 billion out of it, and then they took off and went to Mexico and left a lot of black men who worked at carrier high and dry and unemployed with COVID on top of that. I don't see anybody in this space who claims to be in opposition to what's considered to be the left actually having that conversation about black men suffering, trying to work extended hours because places like Indiana kind of ignored COVID restrictions and had a lot of these folks working on these assembly lines, under COVID conditions. I don't know. I don't know where some of these folks, at least maybe under your stream or maybe on that side of the space, where they're coming from with these ideas that Biden is doing such a poor job. I don't see it reflected anywhere in these sources. I'm seeing all sorts of numbers boasted. It says right here. Oh, actually, are we looking at the screen? Yeah, it says right here. The economy added 12.6 million jobs under Biden, putting the total 3.2 million higher than before the pandemic, which is Trump's administration.
Okay.
I mean, the term Bidenomics means that he has. The term Bidenomics means that he has a policy in place, right? An economic policy in place. When you start talking about Trump and a lot of black men saying they came up under Trump, I find that very dubious, because how can that be the case if the numbers are not reflected there? And then suddenly black men just stop coming up under Biden. I don't understand where some of these cats are coming from, but maybe you can explain their side of that argument.
Well, when we see when we see Biden, we see a lot of symbolism. Like, for example, his latest scheme, he wants to make a statue of Emmett Till and Emmett Till's mother, make a excuse me.
But what did that have to do with the economy?
Bro, like
am I the
literally.
only one? Am I the only one who observed this? That we went from talking about the economy to talking about symbolism.
It
I
was
mean,
like
first-
literally a direct. It was a direct question that was asked, and then literally the answer was something about Emmett Till and his mom in a statue.
I mean, he started off the conversation about groceries being too high.
Yeah, inflation.
Yeah.
He didn't know the word to use, but yeah.
Let me finish playing this.
I get the word out. Mama of Emmett Till and Emmett Till's mother.
Yeah, I think that's a part of American history, don't you think?
Yeah, but I would have preferred he arrested Carolyn Bryant and charged her before she died.
Well, I mean, that's up to the the state's attorneys who were in the state that she was in, that she resided in. I mean, they couldn't even find her for quite some time until they saw that she was in hospice or somewhere where she was supposed to be at. I think that's out of Biden's control. I don't think that Biden is in charge of arresting people, but I do get your point. I think that when you have Republicans and conservatives who actually were protecting this woman, I mean, the fact that these same people want to deny that that race was even involved, it was a racial lynching. We had Rand Paul, the son of Ron Paul, filibustering the anti-lynching bill. I didn't see not one content creator in the manosphere even highlighting this.
This country, or
Yeah. Where do they have universal health care in this?
No. You there?
That's your interpretation of the left? That's your interpretation of the left?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay. Let me not take up a lot more time. Anybody else on the panel have any questions for AB Media?
Yeah, where do they have universal health care in the country? Maybe media.
Universal health care in the country. This country, or
Yeah, where do they have universal health care in this country?
nowhere? Till and Emmett Till's mother, make a excuse me, trying to get the word out. Monument of Emmett Till and Emmett Till's mother.
Yeah, I think that's a part of American history, don't you think?
Yeah, but I would have preferred he arrested Carolyn Bryant and charged her before she died.
Well, I mean, that's up to the the state's attorneys who were in the state that she was in, that she resided in. I mean, they couldn't even find her for quite some time until they saw that she was in hospice or somewhere where she was supposed to be at. I think that's out of Biden's control. I don't think that Biden is in charge of arresting people, but I do get your point. I think that when you have Republicans and conservatives who actually were protecting this woman, I mean, the fact that these same people want to deny that that race was even involved, it was a racial lynching. We had Rand Paul, the son of Ron Paul, filibustering the anti-lynching bill. I didn't see not one content creator in the manosphere even highlighting this. The very lynching bill that would have protected George Floyd, for that matter, or many other Black men who have been choked to death by these Anglo-Saxon men. What I hear from a lot of these people in this space is, just hilarious is more important than, this brother being choked out on the train by Penny. I don't hear I don't hear people talking about this. So when you say the left, what is your perspective on the left? How do you define that?
How do I define the left? People who are for universal health care, people who want to not be in a proxy war, which is another problem that I have with Biden right now. He's in a proxy war with Russia, and everybody sees that with Ukraine.
Those are his statements. Okay? Those are his statements about what he thinks the left is and what's actively going on with Biden. Well, guess what? Most of your conservative governors did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what else is new?
Well, what else is new is us teaching you about what's going on in the state of Indiana. All the problems that you have from a public policy standpoint are coming from conservatives. But you're not talking about them. What you want to talk about is Breonna Joy Gray versus, Kyle Kalinske and, this other woman, Crystal Ball. All of you, let's go through AB Media's videos.
Yeah, it's nothing. That's the thing. Like the concerns, there's nothing substantive or substantial about his positions on things when it comes to governance, dude. It's very social media based, very prima facie. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, let's look at this. Why y'all mad at Miss Pearlie? Huh?
Holy shit!
Huh?
What?
Huh? That's
Chat
what you got.
GPT?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Oh no. Okay. I want that black man to be brutally honest about this bullshit right here.
Yeah. What about this? Look at all this. Huh? Joe Biden's Supreme Court pick. I'm not even going to bother playing it. I mean, I'm just making a point that all of the angst is against what's considered to be the left. But then he says here,
You there?
that's your interpretation of the left? That's your interpretation of the left?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay. Let me not take up a lot more time. Anybody else on the panel have any questions for AB Media?
Yeah, where do they have universal health care in the country? AB Media.
Universal health care in the country. This country or
Yeah, where do they have universal health care in this country?
nowhere?
So how are you worried about universal health care when it's nowhere in the country?
Okay.
All right.
Did you mean universal? Did you mean universal health care or affordable health? The Affordable Health Care Act?
Affordable health care. I think, yeah.
Universal.
Because universal would
Okay.
so
You heard it right. So
Okay.
what was the second issue that you seen the left pass? Because we don't have universal health care anywhere in the country. Only people who do have universal health care are politicians. They are taken care of from cradle to grave. If they serve one day in the actual seat of somebody, they get health care for life. That's the only universal health care we have in this country. It's for politicians. So, and some veterans under some certain circumstances. What's the other thing you seen the left have?
Ending proxy wars.
Any proxy war? You mean like with Ukraine?
Yes.
Were you for? I mean, do you have any sources about you not liking the Iraq and Afghanistan war?
I wasn't for those wars either.
So you're against just all wars, period?
No, I was for them going in Afghanistan and getting Osama bin Laden. Let's not get it twisted. But
okay, but how long did that take though?
probably about, let's see, probably around 10 years.
Okay.
According
How long
to
did we
whenever the war started and when Obama claimed they killed him, allegedly killed him.
Okay, so you don't think that Osama bin Laden was killed by the United States government?
Yeah, I'm not sure. They say they have his body. But I've heard from from some other people that may not be true. But for now, yeah, I guess that's the truth.
Did you watch the interview with the well-known guy who was the guy who actually shot bin Laden to the face? Did you actually watch that interview with that
No, I
guy?
did not.
It's on YouTube. Yeah,
No, I did
there's an
not.
actual Navy SEAL guy. I'm not sure why he's famous because there was a team of like 27 people out there. But the guy who actually shot bin Laden through his eye, you could watch that interview from that guy who actually shot him. And he'll tell you the entire story about what they did with the barrier at sea and all of that. Because
Okay.
there are no sources that say that didn't happen. And I doubt that there's as much money and fame that guy got off of that story. I doubt that guy will come out here saying that if he did not take the shot.
Okay. I'll check it out. Okay.
But the war in Afghanistan and Iraq, a whole bunch of money was spent on.
Too much,
One of those
yeah.
wars based off a lie. If bin Laden was right next to the Pakistani, army base or whatever, that means we could have got bin Laden a hell of a lot sooner than that. Which means we spent a hell of a lot more time in Afghanistan than we actually needed to be, because we actually let bin Laden go into a war.
I think his name is Chris Kyle.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Complex?
I mean, how the fuck did we go from universal healthcare to bin Laden, bro?
According to him, on the stream he did last night in the Coliseum, we attacked him, and me and Renaissance and Jack Charles. According to him, we attacked him. This conversation was from a month ago.
Yeah.
The live stream that he played of us last night also, was consistent with what we discussed a month ago. How are we attacking you?
All right, well, let me clear something up for Complex. The reason how we got to talk about Iraq and Afghanistan was he said that he was against all wars, period. And I was pointing to the fact that we spent 30, 50, 100 times more money in Iraq and Afghanistan than we needed to spend versus what's being spent now in actually Ukraine. That's the only reason why I was bringing it up, because you said, oh, I'm against all wars. And I'm like, okay, what about the Iraq and Afghanistan war? He was like, oh, okay, I'm okay with them going to that. Okay, how much money did that cost? That costed a hell of a lot more money than this Ukraine shit. I can guarantee.
It's in the trillions. It's in the trillions.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was pointing out. The fact that he wanted the war, but he only wanted to disagree with the war when the Democrats in office. But he didn't have a problem with a war when the Republicans in office. That's the only distinction that I was making for that.
Okay, all right. That I just needed clarity because I was like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Healthcare, which you also asked him, where does that exist? He's like, well, it doesn't. And I'm like, okay. And then we went to bin Laden, and I'm like, bro.
Well, we went to food. We went to food next.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we went to food next, and so he was complaining about grocery prices being high. Yeah, I guess the price of honey buns is a little bit too expensive right now.
Yeah, man. It's a damn shame them donuts are frosted on one side. I'm telling you, man.
Okay, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Chris Kyle.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. Hey, listen, man. Thanks for letting me
Yes,
up.
sir.
I think I've seen all I needed to see and heard all I needed to hear. Wonderful job. I think this is I think we've made our point. Anyway, thank you. And you guys say, hey, AB Media, you take care of yourself, all right? You take care.
All
right, you guys take care, man.
All right, so we could have got bin Laden in I think 3 weeks.
Yeah, and that's Bush's fault. Don't trust me. I don't blame no Democrat, but that's Bush's fault.
Okay.
What was his name again? I'm sorry.
Chris Kyle.
I think his name is Chris Kyle.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
I think Chris Kyle was the guy who had the most sniper shots in history. I don't think he's the guy who actually shot Bin Laden. I think it's another guy, actually, who was on SEAL Team 6. Yeah. Yeah, because they did a movie after the Chris Kyle guy, the guy who eventually got killed by another veteran. But yeah, it's just that. All right, so you got anything else you see the left pass other than proxy wars with actual Ukraine
Well,
and universal health care that isn't there at all?
unfortunately, this is not necessarily the part of left that I listen to, but some of this are some of them are on this pro LGBTQ ABCDEFG stuff.
Okay, so here's the thing with that. That is a two-party thing, just like women is a two-party thing. Now, if the Supreme Court, who have a 6-3 supermajority, can take away or partially made it look like they was taking away abortion rights, how come the 6-3 supermajority don't take away LGBT rights?
Because probably LGBT in the conservative ranks too.
Okay, so you tried to make it a left-wing issue when you know it's a both-party issue.
Well, I'm making a left-wing issue because I don't see the right putting the rainbow flag over the White House.
They may not put a rainbow flag, but they'll put a Confederate flag, though.
Fair enough.
People who have to remove their actual, you're worried about the symbolism of a flag being put up over the people who can actually take their rights away, who have the power to do that and not doing it.
Hey, AB Meet, I was looking at your channel, and
Okay.
I had some questions. Do you think pearly things is here for help black boys in the Supreme Court and legislation?
Probably. Hell no.
Oh, okay. Well, another question.
She's to her credit, she's come out and said she's in it for money.
Whoa.
It is what it
Mike,
is.
Mike,
I got you.
pause it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you just screen share his channel?
Yeah.
Minutes ago, and he had a video talking about why y'all got a problem with Miss Pearly.
Why y'all mad at Miss Pearly?
Okay, that's all. I just want to make sure. We just need to verify that.
Unreal.
Okay, so another question. Do you think No Voting, No Fucking was a Democratic sponsored commercial?
Yes, I do.
Okay, it wasn't. So.
Okay, the funding for that was tied directly to the organization. I forget what the name of the organization, but it was help funded by Michelle Obama. Yes, I think No Voting, No Fucking was a Democratic plot. I also think what was the other one? Get Your Booty to Close was them too.
Okay, okay. If somebody who does it, that doesn't mean it's the Democratic Party. They didn't sanction that. They didn't sponsor it. I mean, if a person that happened to vote Democratic did it, that doesn't mean the Democratic Party did. I just thought I'd let that be known. So I don't know, man. I was looking at your channel.
To your point, to your point, Lou. I don't mean to interrupt you, but to your point, it will be the equivalent of the Manosphere making a campaign ad using memes. It's not indicative of the Republican Party or the Libertarian Party. It's the Manosphere doing it. But see, we understand that aspect, but we don't understand that when it comes to no voting, no fucking.
Right, exactly. And then I was looking. I mean, you said Roland Martin is a clown. Your ancestors didn't die. I was just asking. I was wondering where that was at because when he asked you about, what's your problem
he actually blocked me on Twitter. I didn't really say anything bad to him, but he came out and said, called people punk asses because they didn't vote in 2022. Well, here's the problem.
He blocked you because you called him a shill. You called him a shill. That's a big problem. Accusing people who advocate for progress is now called a shill on the left, but not talking about the track record of conservatives in your own state. Somehow you're not a shill. Come on, man, make it make sense.
I didn't vote in 2022, so I took offense to that. So I made a little short say my ancestors died for your punk ass to buck dance for Hillary Clinton.
Okay, well, I got a question for you. Do you
What do
want
you
to
say,
see
Martin?
political change in this country, AB Media?
Yes, I do.
How do you get to see political change if you don't vote? How does that work?
Well, I was at work. You send a message to the person who's always begging and asking and acting like they own your vote that you don't own my vote.
Okay. So tell me a time in history where not voting got something done.
Not voting got something done. Civil rights movement.
That was voting.
Yeah. That was about
Mm,
voting. Getting the right to
That was-
vote.
Yeah, it was
no,
all
they
about.
didn't trust them. They did that because they didn't want you to tear the country up.
Did black people vote or not?
Yes,
For
they switched parties once the Democrats decided they wanted to
Oh, so they
get
did
behind
vote.
civil rights. So
So they did vote,
yeah, mostly black folk were Republicans up till that time.
but they voted.
because the
Yeah,
because the Republican Party was the party that advocated for their interests
yeah.
at the time.
Could you
Agreed.
tell
In fact,
me, since the parties did switch, what was the best time to be a actual black Republican since the parties did switch from the 1960s? Like, what is the Renaissance period? Could you name me any piece of legislation that was passed by a Republican administration that targeted black people and black people only during that? I'm talking about like 1960s to the present.
1960s to the present. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
After the civil rights legislation, obviously.
I was going to say Dwight D. Eisenhower, but you said 1960s to the present. I can't think of any.
All right.
Because Nixon didn't care for us, and Reagan most definitely didn't give a shit about us. So
which party do you vote for?
it depends.
Okay, so
I
what?
mean, you didn't actually participate the last time. So, all right.
It depends. If I like what the Republicans talk about, I might vote for Republican. If I like what the Democrats talking about, I might vote for the Democrat. It depends.
Okay, so do you think Ice Cube is a legitimate political actor?
Yeah.
How?
Well, he's using his he's using this celebrity for political action. What's the big deal?
Okay, so what did Ice Cube get passed at any other time in history? What piece of legislation that Ice Cube is solely responsible for anywhere in this country, anywhere, anytime in history? Could you name me anything that Ice Cube is actually personally responsible for that's being passed?
Well, nothing right now, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try.
Okay.
I mean, I get your point. He hasn't got any legislation passed, but that doesn't mean he should give up and go home.
I mean, but he's not participating in the actual process. He hasn't picked a side. You get
Why would
things
you
from
need to
the side.
why would you need to pick a side? You guys have stated yourself before I got on that both parties don't like us.
No. So like what you're doing is that you have to understand both parties don't like you, but you still have to participate. It's kind of like if I want to see an NBA championship, and I'm not sure how the Denver Nuggets end up winning this year, but they did. That's my city. If I want to see an NBA championship, I got to choose the Eastern or the Western Conference. No matter what's going on, I got to be able to choose one if I want to see a champion of some sort, right?
Yeah.
There is no middle of the road. There's going to be a champion. There's going to be a winner. So in order for you to be able to see some type of progress, you can't wait just till the actual election, because you don't get to vote in the primaries. You don't even get to pick the candidates on the ballot. Now you're just waiting to be pandered towards in the actual election, and then you probably don't even end up getting anything. So people who organize for a side, they get exactly what they want to. The Jews are on both sides. Most Asians are on both sides.
So why do y'all yell at brothers who want to be on the right side?
You're not on the right side. You're in the middle, but you're attacking the left. That's different than just being plainly on the right. That's way different. Because when people are on the left and when people are on the right, you can coordinate to get stuff done because you got a mixed caucus of people. But when you got people who are in the middle, you can't really track where they are, and we on the left are doing things actually for Black people, and you're kind of nowhere to be found, and you don't participate in the process, we're kind of out there on our own. And what is happening in this process is that you're leveraging our political participation when you haven't picked a side. If you're on the right, great. I never said not be on the right. I'm just saying, you're on the right, go out there and be on the right. Be out in front, out there on the right, so that way you can do that when you're actually on a political side. If you're not on the political side and nobody knows where you stand at, you'll never get anything tangibly done. Especially if I have to declare that I'm on the left and everybody else is not even participating or else standing there in the middle. You go to these southern states, you see that nobody actually participates in the actual election process. And the only thing they're doing is leveraging the actual collective failure of people who are. So how do you get progress your way? With your level of understanding, how do we get progress? Your specific way, how do we get it?
Well, how do we get specific progress? Particularly with the Democrat Party, got to put your foot down with them. And I just don't see that. I don't see that enough.
Okay,
Now,
no. You misunderstood the question.
Okay.
I asked you what are you going to do? Like, what is your plan to success? Because people are already showing up to vote on the left. They're not really showing up to vote on the right. I mean, on the right. We're talking about no policies on the right. They're on the right because it's just purely representation matters, and they got all these side projects and all that kind of
I'm
stuff.
not necessarily on the right.
But you can't attack people on the left unless you are on the right.
That doesn't make any sense.
It does make a lot of sense. That
doesn't make any sense. People on the left attack people on the left all the time. That doesn't make any sense.
Let me explain. If you're on the left, you already picked a side. You declared a side. You get to attack whoever you want to, left or right. But you haven't picked a side, whether it's left or right, but you only wanted to attack the left when it's convenient, the right when it's horrible, but you don't have a side declared.
So what?
Okay, well, you're not a legitimate political actor. The only thing you are a political saboteur at this point. We don't know where you are. We don't know where you stand. We can't coordinate with you with anything. You clearly don't, pretty much know anything about the process. And once you get caught on, you're not even participating.
And y'all think you're going to gain independence with that attitude? Okay.
What is independence? Like, what does that mean?
The majority of people are not registered as a Democrat or a Republican in this country. That's the attitude you're going to have toward them. That's how you're going to get more people to your side, to pick your side, the left.
Okay, AB Media. If that's true, what state in the United States have voted for an independent for a senator and an actual presidential candidate and an actual state legislature that is purely independent? If what you say is true, there should be at least one state in this union that has an independent assembly of some kind. Could you name me one of those?
No, there isn't one.
Even Bernie Sanders had to go with the Democrats.
Yeah. So it's like, okay. So you know that being an independent is really not really picking a side. So you have to pick left or right if you want progress.
Why?
You got to be able to. Okay, because here's
You
the
have
thing.
to use one or the other.
Why?
All right, complex. Let me explain. Because no matter what your platform is, you got to caucus with somebody. You have to caucus with somebody. Even if you're Jesse Ventura, he caucused mostly with the left because he's a libertarian when he was a governor. So at the end of the day, in order to get your actual particular things through, you have to caucus with the side. Susan Collins from Maine claimed to be an independent, always actually lobbies or even votes with the actual Republican Party. Bernie Sanders is an independent, but can't get shit done on his own. He has to lobby with the actual Democratic Party.
Exactly.
So even if you are in the middle, like you claim you are, you still have to pick a side in order for you to get your agenda through. Because you just can't say, I'm going to stop at just being in the middle and not pick a side to get the actual things done. Because there's another step to this being in the middle. Because once you're in the middle, now you got twice the amount of work with half the representation because you didn't vote in the primary. So now you have to choose a side in order to get your caucus through. Because most of the things that you brought up are not even things that are even on the ballot. Universal health care, not on the ballot. Then sold out by the actual Democratic Party, by the way. Right? There was nobody in the Republican Party who was for universal health care or single payer at all. So the healthcare party and the people who actually did healthcare was on the left, not the right. And they're not even doing the universal healthcare thing because they're completely bought out and paid for by the actual insurance lobby. So I'm asking you, from your understanding of in the middle, what is your timeline to get to success your way with your understanding of how this works?
I don't know.
If you don't know, how are you going to be critical of a platform like ours?
Okay, you guys think we have all the answers?
No.
And this guy said in his live stream that we attacked him. Does that sound like an attack?
I literally asked the question. I didn't attack him.
We simply asked him questions that he couldn't answer. So he felt attacked because he didn't have answers. Like, these are basic questions, by the way. These are not hard, drawn out questions. We're asking you about your plan on how you're going to get success. That's not an attack. That's a direct question that you don't have any answer to.
Yeah.
It just proves the point that you don't have a point, and nobody should be trying to get the black male vote. Black men sound like this. Don't bother talking to them. Don't bother talking to them.
Yeah.
If they live in Indiana, don't live in a liberal state where your actual vote can actually mean shit. Don't even talk to them. They're just there to troll you. They're just there to troll the actual process because they can't benefit off of it by living in an actual area where they can benefit off of it. So they just want to troll the process, man. Like, no one has time for this childish ass shit. No one has time for that.
Yeah.
And this is not me defending Mike Pence either, because I openly admit Mike
Pence did with Indiana's Medicaid program.
Okay.
And we're
I openly admit Mike Pence is a real true Kool-Aid drinker. He actually believes half that bullshit the Republicans spew out, the old school Republicans.
But that's not the center of your content. We just went through your catalog. We just went through your catalog and we just played all of your talking points here on Open Chat number 89. But he'll go here and tell everybody on his channel that the Black Brain Trust attacked him, when the conversation you just heard was not an attack. It was a very cordial, copacetic conversation.
I mean, what he has that master teacher selective thought process, to where everything's an attack, but they get to lie about people's shit, and that's not considered an attack at all.
Yeah.
I mean, what is just a misrepresentation of pretty simple things for no other reason other than to protect his ego from just being flat out wrong.
No, so MOT, what it is, see, when you have the superior position and you have the actual facts, it's an attack. But, you know, if you took your shots at them, and let's just say you were more ignorant than they are, then guess what they're gonna try to put you in the chair and hang you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ironic.
Facilities, and you do it dirty. Yeah. But that's the black woman. But you should take me back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were doing him dirty from minute one.
Yeah.
When they arrived at Jackson
And you've been
State.
in sports a long time, Snow, man. You know,
Yes,
I'm
I
gonna
have.
say the PWIs do not do that. Okay, they'll do other stuff, but that's
ESPN College Game Day is now trying to seize.
they didn't take their channel.
They didn't take the channel.
Right.
They didn't take their channel.
Yeah.
And they're not going to take their channel either. You get
Too many eyeballs.
you're getting Jeep seats at Folsom Field.
Man.
And we got upstairs. It was nice and air conditioned. And Victor, my had to go back to another.
Anyways, man, I'm not going to play anymore.
Yeah,
of this.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
I think
yeah.
we've made our point, and I think that what people have to understand is this: we have what you heard last night and from last month, open chat number 89 and open chat number 92, right? 93. There was no attack. So he lied. And he also did not, his unwillingness to talk about what goes on in his state with conservatives is also an admission of collusion with the right. As then he says, Miss Pearlie, is somehow doing this for the money. But then he went months ago defending just Pearlie Thinks. It's right on his channel.
She's a tool, you guys. Remember, she's a tool to get things done for black boys and black men. As
5 years. 5 years, according to the master teacher. 5 years.
Per the master teacher. So, hey, well, listen, you don't think we're tracking and tracing the progress of this?
Yeah, Fuentes too. Yeah, 5 years, man. Yeah, 5 years for him too.
We're 1 year in, I want to say. We're about 1 year into that 5 year. We're tracking and tracing this because, hey, listen, I'm going to pin this on them in that 5 year time period. I'm going to pin this shit on them and be like, hey, I don't know if Pearl do anything. What's up, master teacher? I don't know.
Yeah, man, you're not going to be able to help these IBMs with anything. You're not going to be able to help. They want to be lied to. They don't care about the process. They just want to troll everything, and they want everybody else to do all the work for them, man. So I don't know how you could be able to help personnel who deliberately and specifically go against their own best interest. They're the new rural white Americans who think that voting for tax cuts is somehow going to get them jobs in their actual area. Like, I don't know what's the timeline for that either. So.
When it's been proven that the very onshoring or reshoring of jobs and manufacturing jobs in Indiana has not actually worked. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not understanding the position that he's taken, right? You say you agree with Breonna Joy Gray, a woman who's to the left of the Democratic Party.
Far to the left of that.
Right? And who also he claims is a feminist.
About to say she's a feminist. Didn't he say that?
Yeah. But he claims that we're attacking him for having an opinion about a debate between them, when the reality is the clip that we just played from Open Chat number 89 was him claiming not to have a side taken, and he doesn't see anything wrong with that.
And
but can't understand. Go ahead.
I was just saying, and there were no attacks.
Yeah.
We didn't attack them.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, on that side, that's what happened. I just want to make sure that we're providing, we're correcting the record that we did not attack him, Renaissance, myself, and Jack Charles. And the time before that, he was on our panel. He was treated with the utmost respect. Yo, we got to stop lying in the space. We got to stop, spreading just misinformation about what Dems ain't doing. Talk about your state. The state of Indiana, from top to bottom, is run by conservatives. If your concern is about universal health care, you put that at the foot or the feet of conservatives. If you're concerned about jobs in Indiana, put that at the feet of conservatives. Your problem is not with the Democratic Party. It's not with Joe Biden. It's not with Kamala Harris. It's not with Nancy Pelosi. It's not with Maxine Waters. It's not with the Congressional Black Caucus. This misinformation is persistent on that side. And the idea that the Black Brain Trust or, folks over here, that the reason why they don't talk about politics on that side is because domestic politics on that side is because it's just so quote unquote emotional. What kind of emotion did you hear on that in that discussion on open chat number 89? What are you talking about? Go ahead, MOC.
It's just at the end of the day that we don't. It's this blackmail disingenuousness is a problem. Like I have never met a more group of disingenuous people in my life. How do you survive in society? How do you work for somebody if you cannot answer basic questions or stand on some type of basic principle? Everything is always ongoing and changing, and they're always lost, and they don't understand how anything works, and everyone has to fill them in on everything. It just makes things so much worse than it needs to be. All this stuff is a personal responsibility problem that they're trying to leverage onto other people. Like, okay, I'm gonna say something completely dumb and wrong. Why don't you correct me? It's like, no, dude, no one has time for that. If you pick the side, this is easier. You can literally just focus on what your side is doing or is not doing. You don't have to cover the whole political divide. That's why I don't even bother talking about what's going on in the Democratic Party, because the only thing you're going to do is weaponize it and try to use it against. Just like Black and Red Stripes tried to do. He got some new information and he immediately tried to make it look like he can't make a decision based off of what we just said. So you're just like, look, you got to bring your own conversation to the conversation. That's it. Can't contribute, move along to something else. That's just where we are at, man. Like, these disingenuous dudes make things so hard when they don't need to be. I seen a Sikh slap the shit out of another Sikh for asking a dumbass question in front of everybody. He asked the dude, what do you think on this issue? He immediately tried to go on some culture warrior stuff, and boom, the dude got hit in the face for everybody. Like, you have to be able to make sure that these people are knowledgeable about the conversation before they come up. They are too ignorant and arrogant about the process, so they come in, say wrong things, get educated, walk away from the conversation. No growth. That's just not our problem. Like, these same people were here during the 2020 election. They should have been caught up to speed by now. Same people who are ignorant as hell, they was here during the 2016 election. Like, how much longer are we going to go through this? It's ridiculous.
It's just a for them, it's just a culture war. It's about bashing what they consider the so-called left, and that's it. They somehow romanticize themselves as being somehow conservatives. They want to latch on to that side that does nothing for them, but somehow it inculcates some level of masculinity and patriarchy and this other stuff, and they run behind that, and they don't even look in the solid face of what the right and the far right is really about. They don't even want to look at what that's really about, but that's what they're trying to romanticize themselves as being a part of, which is absolute insanity when you look at this thing for what it really looks like on the ground. But that's their whole piece. This is not about truth, really. It's not about facts. In some respects, it's not even about reality. These guys are trying to alter some kind of false reality, or I don't know what they're, some kind of, I don't know, some kind of delusion that these guys are in, and are pushing it here on the manosphere, which the manosphere has basically been a misinformation space with people like Eli and a few others who were out here pushing just false information, just trying to bogart an argument for the sake of it, and then they're not even making sense. So that's why I was talking with Mike and some of these people, and let's say you also MOT and some of the others, about, and Complex about, listen, the name of the game is keep the information game straight here. There has to be a level of what I would say more than anything else, almost quality control, and kind of keep that kind of moving, because these people are out here pushing some of the most ridiculous. They're not taking any sides whatsoever. They have no side to take. They have, if you ask them truly what are their interests, you can never get a solid answer out of them on that as well. They're just here, man, just making a whole lot of noise about nothing, sounding crazy in so many ways. So I just think, the name of the game is let's keep putting the proper information out here. And yes, what side are you taking? It's not about if you're on the left or you're on the right per se. What side are you taking, and what are your clearly defined interests? You're not going to find that from these guys. They're going to be out here talking crazy and voting for Kanye West and all this other kind of madness. That's the kind of stuff that, that we're seeing that we're countering out here right now. So all this misinformation, people like AB Media, who has took a side, backed off, walking away from it. What is he really claiming? People like him live in certain states and don't question what their governors and so forth are actually laying down, but yet are coming out here saying something against the so-called left, if you will. But what are they doing for you on the right? It's just, it's madness. Continue to question these people. You'll see many of them are just walking around, just talking. They have no positions whatsoever to take. They don't have a position. And that's terrible, but that's where they are. Anyway, go ahead.
They're going. You know what the answer is, right?
Break it down. Go ahead.
The answer is to vote for. Hey, coño. Hey, coño.
Ay, coño. Ay, coño. Yeah. Jesus.
Let's go to Citizen Lou.
Hey, what's up?
What up, Lou?
What's good with it, man?
Happy Sunday. That's some football Sunday. So I kind of want to use a football analogy for this, right?
Hey, Lou, what it do?
What's up, OG? What's up, McGone? What's up, MOT? Mike, Complex. Love to the chat, everybody. Yeah, man. It's funny, man. See, I remember when we first did it. I ain't gonna lie. I kind of was thinking like. I was kind of thinking like, man, I hope we don't like, because I mean, he's I don't know how to say this without being, an asshole, but
but you have to be. Luke. It's okay. It's okay.
That wasn't for, you know what I'm saying, like that wasn't their best that they put out, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he just didn't have it's like, they just put him out there to get kind of clipped, like it was like they put him out there in no man's land. I mean, he came on his own. I don't think, I agree with you, Mike. I don't think we attacked him, but I knew it would be perceived that way. I knew it just by not having the answers, just the succinct questions. I knew it was going to come off like we were like,
Lou, that's all you in the space though, bro. That's always
you're
been
right.
That's
no,
always
I mean, but see, my thing is though, who else would it have been? Big Nate ran from MOT. He didn't want to debate. I mean,
he ran for me too.
Yeah, he ran for Mike. I mean, it don't. What they like scared to talk with conservative. What is that what they gonna say? Are we scared to talk to him? No, that's definitely not it.
BGS ran off of code breakers on Friday. I'm just saying, dog. That's what they do.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, they run. I mean, they want to like. But here's the thing, too, though, right? So these black conservatives, I mean, they running these old ass defensive formations, these old ass offensive plays, running power I. And they don't have a West Coast style.
46 defense.
What is that?
46 defense.
Nah, man.
Right.
No, they're still running the wing T, man. The old wing.
Yeah, these wing T, these old, and I mean, every shit has been evolved. I mean, that's what I'm saying. What would have been different? It's the same shit, just like you were talking about the other day. When you give them some new information, or you can't even do that. Now they gonna hone in on that point for the rest of the fucking stream. You give them some new information that could be like, detrimental to like, the left or Biden or whatever. I remember that day we were talking about MOT about how Joe Biden kind of was the reason why student loans are the way they are. And I ain't never, you can't say that shit right now. Then them motherfuckers be on that shit for 2 months. They didn't know that shit. You know, they didn't know that at all. I mean, it's a plethora. I mean, you could also probably say some stuff like under Joe Biden, the passport bro thing, you know, them visas, they kind of slowed up. I mean, but they was on the slow in the Trump too. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, it's stuff they don't even really that they could use. They don't use. They're using lame shit like LGBTQ and other goofy shit that nobody gives a fuck about. None of that stuff they talk about hits people.
See, the
It's
thing
not
is,
effective.
both political parties have to address all societal issues. Even on the Republican side,
They never do.
I mean, look, they do it in their own way, right? But the fact of the matter is that because they are an actual voting constituency, right? They have to be looked at as a group of people. That means that both sides of the political spectrum have to engage with them. Why? There's laws on the books pertaining to them. Now, in terms of the interests of, say, like Black men, or particularly, say, like the Black Brain Trust, where we're more technocratic minded, you'll notice that our political concerns largely are in alignment with what we see as the fourth industrial age and the outlook of that. And so we're centric to that. So it's like you could bring up El Gibbet, but I'm like, well, since when the fuck have we ever focalized on that and talked like, dude, come on.
No, like complex. Like when they bring up like El Gibby shit, just say combo breaker from fucking like Fatal Instinct. That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
It's just getting too rough
No, you mean
on
Killer
breaker.
Instinct.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Killer Instinct. Yeah. Combo breaker. It's like, what? Like, dude, we're talking about something, and all of a sudden, Sleepy Joe or El Gibby. And it's like, it's always these things that break up the conversation. Crazy.
We were talking about energy infrastructure, and what was it, Mike? The DOE, Department of Energy, got the grant on the table. I thought we were talking about that. I thought we were talking about.
I asked like clear questions. I wanted to know. Like I asked the same question to everybody. I asked the same thing to Paradox. I asked, okay, what, about the Republican Party platform appeals to you? I didn't even ask as a Black man. I didn't ask as a young, whatever, males, heteros. I asked as you, as a person. And I never get a succinct answer. It's always some like bullshit. It's like Trump got balls, or I don't,
I'm a capitalist.
I'm a capitalist. I don't.
It's just stupid shit.
Yeah, I don't want to pay taxes or whatever. I don't want to pay
combo breaker. Combo breaker.
Here's one thing. Oh, by the way, how you guys doing? How you guys
doing?
Oh,
what's up, Wacky?
What's up?
Wacky, what it do? What it do?
What's up? It all goes down to this, and you guys already know this. It's all about being quote unquote anti-Black female, and they believe that being Republican is being anti-Black female, even though you have Black female representatives on both sides.
No, that's a fact, Wacky. As a matter of fact, on this, like a lot of discourse on Twitter or whatever, like between like the gender war, I've seen people say, man, y'all make me want to be a Republican. Like that's how they really see it. To go at Black women is to be a Republican.
Right.
But what these fools don't want to deal with, and I have to call them fools because they're not looking at this thing. They look at this thing very foolishly. If these guys are going to be moving against Black women, do you think they're not going to be moving against Black men, your Black ass as well? You see, that's what these guys don't really want to have to really take in when they're dealing with this. And that's why I'm saying these guys are just not looking at this thing realistically. They're looking at this thing very foolishly. They have not thought this through at all. They haven't looked at it. And
I slightly disagree. I slightly disagree. Calling them a fool is an insult to fools everywhere. You have to put more work in it to be a fool. So I wouldn't call them a fool. I mean, they're a legitimate fool, but these people don't qualify. But I would call them ignorant AF. But it's just that they don't want to learn the information. It's kind of like Pong. Like the information is coming to them, and they put up the wall to knock the ball back. Like that's what it is. These dudes. It's not that the information isn't there. Once they stop remaining ignorant, now they have to take action. Because they don't want to take any action, they want to remain as ignorant as possible, as long as possible. That's what it is.
Yeah, but you, but
what I was gonna say.
But you saying ignorance is bliss.
Well, I was gonna say that, right? I was just gonna say exactly what MOT said. That's what I'm taking it as at this point, because see, there's too much information out here to be ignorant to it. I'm sorry. It's just that's in front of everybody's faces. You can disagree with it all you want, but you also know that you're full of shit for disagreeing with that statement because you know it's true. So
Yeah, but
you just said, well, once
Okay.
you have information, listen, if you don't do anything with it, it's on you. My bad. Oh, go ahead, man.
nah, you good, Complex. But the thing is that they have to keep this SBE/defeatist narrative going. And in order to keep that narrative going, they have to keep this false perception about being anti-left or anti-democrat, as to say, well, the Democrat is the side of black female and the Republican Party is on the side of the black male. In order to keep this SBE narrative going, they have to keep that false perception politically going. It's all about keeping that false narrative going, in which when you just do basic research, you don't even have to do a lot, but just basic research, you'll see that all the things that whole narrative is a bunch of damn BS.
Yeah. Facts. Facts.
But y'all have a good day, because I have to go. I just wanted to come in here and just give my 2 cents, man. But y'all have a great day. All right,
cool, man.
All right, man.
All right. Any closing thoughts from anyone?
No, we good, bro. I'm good.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. Please hit the like button on the way out. Share the video if possible. Hit that notification bell so you get all the updates.